Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Core Connection. I'm Mira Rubin here with you on Enlightened World Network. And this is round two. I apologize. I was experiencing some technical difficulties this morning, and Facebook wasn't playing nice. So we're back, and today's topic is not knowing and how we contend with not knowing. So let's just take a moment to settle in and get present. Let's take a deep breath in through your nose, hold it, and imagine that oxygen just coursing through your body, enlivening all your cells into your lungs, into your bloodstream, and just bringing vital life force throughout your being. And exhale any tension, any stress, and then let's just take another deep breath in through your nose. Hold it and imagine vital, brilliant, bright light going throughout your whole body and moving through every molecule and expanding out into the world beyond. And then as you exhale, exhale any tension. And let's just gently press our palms together, softly rub your fingers against your palms and feel the tingling and that delicious sensation. And let's bring ourselves present right here, right now. Nikki Stone, thank you for being here. I see that you were here for my disappearing act. So thanks so much for sticking around. We had initially, it was broadcasting a video and then it just died. So thanks for being here. I appreciate it. And for everybody else who's listening, let's talk about not knowing. Because this morning, what happened was I really didn't have a topic. So I came into this not knowing what it would be. And I decided that would be a great topic because, thanks, Dido. Dido says, so glad you're back. Me too. Not knowing is something that so many of us are faced with right now. The uncertainty of what's going to happen next, what's happening in the world, and the not knowing is brings up this consideration of certainty, because really certainty in our lives is an illusion. There aren't really any things in the world that we can be 100% certain of. I know, we're told we can be certain of death and taxes, but we don't know when or how much maybe. But when we're talking about not knowing, what arises for you? What's the experience of not knowing for you? Is it fearful? I think that there are times certainly when it would be fearful, and perhaps other times where it is invigorating. So Nikki says, not knowing takes away our ability to control. And Nikki, I'm so glad you said that, because the truth is we have an illusion of control. And the interesting thing in my experience is that as I relinquish my need to control, that I experience greater freedom and autonomy or strength or capacity. So I'm wondering if that's so for you, and in your experience, when we try to control things, there's a tremendous amount of energy expended, first of all, and there's a tremendous amount of stress that goes along with trying to control things, because when things don't go as planned, as we're intending for them to be, when we're trying to control things, what happens is we end up stressed, we end up frustrated, we end up disappointed, we end up angry, we end up reactive, in other words. And so I'm wondering what the experience is of letting go of trying to control things. So for this morning, I didn't have a clue what to talk about. And so I just said, okay, well, I'm going to go in not knowing, and let's see what wonder we can create together. And I think there can be a tremendous freedom in not knowing, because then you don't have to impose expectations of what it's going to be. Nikki says once you move through the fear, it is empowering. I agree. It really truly is to say, well, where's the fear coming from? You know, the fear is coming from, like this morning, what would the fear be? That I would embarrass myself, or that I would bore you to tears, or that, you know, there could be any number of fears. And at the same time that we could be cultivating those fears, we can cultivate an excitement and an enthusiasm. For instance, I could also be thinking, which is really where I chose to go, is let's see what happens this morning. Let's see what kind of adventure we can create together. So Nikki says some of the best magic in life is not orchestrated. Nikki, I think that, you know, I'm so glad that you tapped into the idea of the best magic in life. And I think that more than some, I think the best magic in life isn't orchestrated. I don't know how we really get to orchestrate the magic of the situations. Maybe we can put ourselves in the right place to experience magic. Maybe we can make preparations so that there's a greater likelihood of magic, but I don't know that we can actually orchestrate magic. What do you think about that? Has anybody have you experienced magic in life when you have actually been able to orchestrate it, you know, a magical moment? Or is there just some kind of grace that comes in that moment that says, okay, all the wonderful pieces are here and perfect, and poof, now we're present to it in a new and inspiring way that's uplifting and enlivening? So I think, well, they say luck is when preparation meets opportunity, and I think that that's probably true for magic as well. And to get back to our topic about not knowing, that's when magic occurs. So I think yesterday I was talking about beauty, and how we can find beauty in the mundane. And I think that the key to finding that beauty in the mundane, like an object like a pen, for example, uh, is coming from the not knowing, not allowing ourselves to step away from the context of what we know, to be able to see things with a fresh view, a fresh eye, and to kind of throw ourselves onto the tides of fate, or tides of grace, to be able to experience new things. It's like what is available if I release myself from all my knowingness. And what's available is an unbounded world. Good morning, Natalie. Welcome. Welcome. It's so great to have you here, and welcome to everybody else. And Nikki says, yes, it's art. It's true. It's art. And so what we're talking about, the art of not knowing. How about that? I love that, Nikki. I think that's what I'm going to title this broadcast, is the art of not knowing, because there is a grace and wonder and magic that's available to us in not knowing, an adventure and a sense of vitality and enlivenment that becomes available as we step away from a need to control, as we step away from the overlay of our beliefs and our programmed perceptions, as we step into a sense of curiosity and wonder and openness and exploration, and also a sense of receiving, right? Because when we have our overlay of all kinds of ideas and intentions and goals, and not to put down intentions and goals, but I'm just saying that having the opportunity to step away from that, to be able to receive instead of kind of pushing our intention and our perception onto the world, to be able to receive what's there in a new way, without the preconceptions, without the control and expectation. It's freeing in a really profound way, isn't it? It's sort of opening for a whole new experience. So, what kinds of things can we look at not knowing? So I think one of the probably the most challenging arenas to be in a space of not knowing might be in the space of relationship. And what I mean by that is when we're in relationship with people, we often come from a place in our communications that is based in an expectation of who this person is. Like, I know what they're going to say, I know what they're going to do. And coming from that expectation, you may be right, and more times than not, perhaps that's the case. And I wonder what happens when you interact without that expectation. To come from, I don't know how this person's going to respond to what I say or what I do. And to be open to the possibility that it might be different from the times that they have responded in the past, and that perhaps you don't actually know. And I understand that the illusion of knowing gives us a sense of security in a way. Is like, if I didn't know that my car would start, for instance, when I need to go someplace, I could be having tremendous anxiety about that if I didn't make assumptions. The fact is that we do need to make assumptions in life to function in the world. And there are times when we can free ourselves of the burden of those assumptions to allow a richer experience. And so it's a delicate balance, because we function through ignoring lots and lots and lots of what is present to us in the world in order to accomplish things, to pay attention to particular tasks or objectives or needs even. But given that we ignore a lot, we can take and make adventures for ourselves in not knowing. So just even imagining, what if I didn't know what my next step would feel like? What if I didn't know what to expect from a person that I'm talking to? What if I could imagine that I don't know what the day will bring in terms of adventure and excitement? So I'm inviting you to play with what you cannot know today that will open up new possibility to you. And I'm wondering if anybody wants to say more about what it is in not knowing. Like, how are you willing to embrace it? Are you willing to take it on today as something to not know? So seeing fresh, hearing fresh is what Dido says exactly. Is like, what if I didn't know? And just play with it. Like, even as a meditation, this is a really cool thing to play with, to start undoing the knowing to see what kinds of new possibilities might open up for you in your life. During your interactions, during your day, in terms of possibilities. You know, we, I just heard myself, say, which is pretty funny. Um, yes, totally, Nikki. I agree. So let's look at what we can not know today that opens up magic, and play with it to see, even as a meditation, as I was saying, how deeply you might be able to undo some of your knowing in a moment, like in a meditation, not knowing what it is that this body is that we reside in, or that we animate to experience life. What would it be like if I didn't know what I know about my body? I might be able to experience it in an entirely new and revelatory way. And I think we can go further and further with that to open up perceptions that we may not have had, that we may not have had access to prior to our knowing. And Nikki says surrender. Yeah, surrendering the knowing. A place of not knowing is the most powerful place to be. Nikki, I think you're so right, because that place of not knowing is a place of all possibility. And we have that knowingness on so many different levels to tease apart and release ourselves from. So I am going to call this complete this morning. I so appreciate your engagement, and Nikki and Dido, thank you so much, and everybody else who's listening, thank you so much for being here. And please give yourself a gift of playing with not knowing, and you can start with the littlest, simplest, most mundane things, and just find yourself some magic through that. So I'm Mira Rubin. This is the Core Connection, and we're here on Enlightened World Network. And I'm here every weekday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. And please check out the other wonderful programming on Enlightened World Network for inspiration, community, and connection. And until next time, wishing you so much love and so much compassion. And Nikki, thank you so much again for joining us. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.